Hello there.
I'm Pickle Rick!
Let's do it, guys!
Right.
It's morphin' time!
Avengers! Assemble.
What's up, guys? Brendan back again today with another episode of Geek Culture Talk on the channel. And today, we are finally on a brand new set. Peep the set here, folks. Doesn't it look absolutely amazing? I hope it looks great. Yeah, it looks... Yeah, I've had like these. I got pretty much everything here except for this guy here is from like San Diego Comic-Con 2023. I got all this stuff for like set decoration. So, yeah, I'm very proud of it. And yeah, it didn't take me long to set up. It took me long to get the lights going, though. It took me like 6 tries to get the lights looking good, because like this room here in the basement is not great for lighting. It's pretty rough. Like when I do the green screen here for thumbnails, it's not great. So, like I've got a lamp over there and a ring light there. The lighting in this room is like there's like multiple like little small lights because the ceiling is pretty low to the ground in here. So like there's like multiple like at least like 7 pairs of lights in here. It's kind of like scattershot almost. It looks bright when you're standing in it, but like for shooting a video, it's not great. Like it took me quite a while. So like if I lean all the way back like this, you can probably see what I mean. If I was leaning this far back, I would look very much covered in shadow. So wouldn't look great. But yeah, I'm very proud of this set. Hopefully I don't knock anything down as I start putting my arms down. You can see some of those bobbleheads shaking around in the Funkos. Hopefully you can. There's this also in the background. That's a poker table. Can't really get rivets. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, this is episode, I don't even know Geek Culture Talk at this point. It's been quite a while since we've done an episode of Geek Culture Talk proper, which I don't know what the last episode would have been. What would it have been? Would it have been the Warhammer video? Where we explain the Warhammer lore? I don't even know. Might have been. Hard to tell. It's been, if that's the case, that was a year ago that video was uploaded, but then also 2 years ago it was filmed. So, yeah. But today, I thought, what a way to inaugurate Geek Culture Talk with a brand new set, finally, is with the hot new topic that came out this year for both DC and Marvel and the comic book world in general is Deadpool and Batman. The very first Marvel and DC crossover in 22 years, guys. 22 years. They finally re-teamed up to make this comic, and there's another one coming out this month. I'm filming this in September, but this video is coming out in November, so the other one from DC's end called Batman Deadpool will come out, and this one is from Marvel's end, which came out in September 17th, I think, yeah. But it's from Marvel's end, so it's Deadpool Batman. So you understand, right? It's like fair and everything. So like Marvel's end, Deadpool gets top billing. DC's end, Batman will get top billing, obviously. And yeah, like I said, it's been a while since they did a crossover. They used to do, for those of you uninitiated, they did crossovers a lot back in the day, like a lot actually. Like if you will see right here, actually, they did enough crossovers back in the day to fill this omnibus up. Like you can see, like it's just oh god, it's something on the cover. It's pretty friggin' big. Yeah, I'm only like partway through. Not even partway, it's like a little bit through. It's like if enough to fill this omnibus here and this one right here, the amalgam omnibus, where they took their characters and mixed them into new characters. We had Batman and Wolverine make Dark Claw, Superman and Captain America make Super Soldier, Green Lantern and Iron Man make Iron Lantern, and then one of the best ones of all time, Doctor Doom and Doomsday make Doctor Doomsday, which Doctor Doom and Doomsday don't have a lot in common, but, you know, they saw the opportunity and they took it. I appreciate it. It works better than Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate making Doctor Strange Fate. So, there's that. And also these ones. They're not part of the omnibus because they didn't release them in the omnibus, but yeah, this was the last crossover they ever did. Let me try and actually hold these better. This was the last crossover they did back in 2003, which was JLA Avengers / Avengers JLA. And yeah, so they didn't release these as part of the omnibus sets for some reason, but yeah. Yeah, they did all these crossovers since 1976 due to the fact that they both wanted to make a Wizard of Oz adaptation of the comic in comic form. I think Marvel got the rights first and was already developing it, but DC also got the rights because, you know, it was open for public domain. So, yada, 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 they teamed up, published a comic together. That's technically the first crossover. And then they decided to make a crossover comic itself. And yeah, there's a lot of videos online talking about the history of like those original crossovers, especially like the first one with Superman versus Spider-Man, where literally there was such like they chose one side chose a writer, one side chose an artist, and they had to make the artist like draw both characters in a specific pose so they each shared 50% of this page. So like fair, it was crazy back in the day. So yeah, and yeah, they didn't do crossover for years because like I think at least majorly the former like president of DC Comics or the creative officer of the comic industry part of it, Dan Dio, famously did not want to do crossover because in his words, crossovers suck and they're demeaning and they just make the companies look bad. And sure, you could say maybe seeing them do this is desperate for money, but like it's fun. Like you don't want to see Batman, Deadpool, or any Marvel and DC character crossover and team up and fight. Like crossovers are like all the rage. Like yeah, sure. Are they cash grab kind of stuff? Sure, but like it's just fun. Like it's fun to see like the crossovers happen if they're done well. A lot of time they are done well. Like Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is fun. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong is fun. What's another one? Power Rangers Ninja Turtles is a good one. When Punisher met Archie, I don't know. I'm trying to think of crossovers off the top of my head. Like, what's another one? Yeah, Sonic when he met Justice League. Heard recently that was a good one. But I mean, the crossovers are fun. And there actually is a short that came out. I put up a YouTube short back in September when this came out. Me unboxing all the variant covers, all the main variant covers for the book, to show off what they all are. So I'll leave a link for that short down in the description below if you want to see what it is. So yeah, but this one is the main cover. So it's done by Greg Capullo, one of my favorite comic artists, and also my favorite artist for Batman. Love his work. Yeah, it was drawn by Greg Capullo and written by Zeb Wells. Zeb Wells, who was the writer behind the infamous Spider-Man run that a lot of people hate, that created a character like Paul. And yeah, when they were announced, I was surprised when I heard this announcement because I was like, okay, Greg Capullo is a good choice because he's drawn Batman and also drew Deadpool recently for Wolverine Revenge. But Zeb Wells is an interesting choice. But I heard he had done good stuff before, so I didn't want to judge him on the Spider-Man thing at all because I think also, especially like when it comes to Spider-Man comics, that's a lot of also Marvel editorial probably digging their claws in there saying, nope, we gotta make it like this. And yeah, plus, he has done a lot of our good stuff. I heard he did some good stuff during the Krakoa era of X-Men, which was good. He's also a television and film guy. He worked on Robot Chicken. He helped out Ryan Reynolds a little bit with the script for Deadpool and Wolverine. He also recently just helped write the script for Marvel Zombies on Disney Plus. So, and that show is excellent, a lot of fun. Please go watch it. I want a season 2 of that desperately. So yeah, and I think he does a great job with the writing of this book here. It's like really good, and we'll get into it obviously. It's a oversized book. So like it's bigger than our normal comic. So there's multiple stories in the book. There's how many's in here exactly? There is kind of Deadpool and Batman. So there's 7 stories in here altogether. Deadpool and Batman is the main one, so it's the biggest one out of all of them. The rest of them are pretty they're pretty short. Well, some are really short, but still, like either way, I really enjoyed this book when I read it. I couldn't stop reading when I first read it because I was like, this is so fun. Like just like I've been like it's just like I could not imagine me living in a time frame where like growing up where a new Marvel DC crossover, like but my 2 favorite like franchises, Marvel and DC, like that there would be a new comic book of the 2 teaming up in store shelves like I can pick up. Like I never thought I live in a day where that would happen again, which is crazy. But crazier things can happen, list them off in the comments. There's a lot of crazy stuff that we can name off. So I'm just gonna kind of go over and talk about this book about exactly go over each story and what happens in all of them and everything like that. Yeah, I mean we are technically now 2 months, 2 month and a half possibly late on when this first came out, but I have other videos I had to worry about. Plus, perfect timing still with the Batman Deadpool crossover coming out. We're back in the zeitgeist, so this might probably work. Who knows? It sounded great for the mic, didn't it? So the book's just it starts with Bruce Wayne in his manor, just trying to figure out what Joker's new scheme is, because apparently he's stolen a bunch, an obscene amount of chemicals more than recently for something big. And then Deadpool comes crashing in here and wants to fight Wayne, but he comes in here and this is what I mean why I really wish actually. So as of me recording this, they have announced a new Deadpool book. I think it's called Wade Wilson Deadpool, is coming out early next year from Marvel, and I'm gonna go pick it up. And they haven't announced the creative team yet. I do actually kind of hope it's Zeb Wells, because I actually really liked how he wrote Deadpool here, because the way Deadpool is written, he's very, very snarky, very annoying, very like, breaking the fourth wall and stuff, as you'll see as we go through it. But he's really like, there's no pop culture references that he makes, at least none that I'm aware of, but I couldn't recognize anything he was saying. Like, I don't think there's a single pop culture reference, which probably might be a good thing for people, because I know a lot of people are not fans of the way Deadpool talks nowadays with the pop culture references that, I think the Deadpool game popularized, and then, or like made a thing, and then the Deadpool movies really popularized, obviously, which I know a lot of Deadpool fans are not a fan of how Deadpool has progressed with how he's written with those jokes since then. I've not really had a problem with it at all. I enjoy the pop culture references when it works and they're funny. Like, I enjoy in Deadpool Wolverine when he makes the Will Smith joke about telling that guy to keep Canada out of his goddamn mouth, which I'm Canadian, so I approve of that joke. But yeah. But here, like, he makes no pop culture references, and it really works. It actually, I can't stress enough how much I enjoy Zeb's like way he writes Deadpool. Like, he's annoying but also funny without having to insert like saying, hey, it's, I don't know, like the Muppets there. Like, why does that guy look like Muppets? But like he's on like, I don't know, the blue meth from Breaking Bad. I don't know, like nothing like that. And when he first breaks into Wayne Manor, he breaks in, wants to fight Bruce Wayne, and he says, "Oh wow, this is embarrassing. I saw the silk robe and the laptop, and sorry, I thought I was about to witness some aggressive self-care," which is like... But pretty much Deadpool tells him, like, eventually tells him in this conversation that he's here, he's on a mission, he's been hired to get Batman, and he thought, why not I try and get some more jobs while I'm here? So I'm gonna go find the biggest billionaire in town right now, which is Bruce Wayne, ask him, hey, you're a rich guy, got any, like, guys going to, like, like, get rid of, something like that? And he's like, I'm not that kind of billionaire. Which then Deadpool goes like, yeah, sure, not that kind of billionaire. And he points to like a picture of Alfred, and Bruce tells him that's his butler. Which they are trying to script past. We're not saying this is part of continuity right now, sort of, because it's like sort of can and can't be, because Alfred is currently dead still in continuity. And also Commissioner Gordon, when we see him, he's like seemingly commissioner and running the GCPD posse. Not really sure, because currently in comics he is a beat cop again for a bunch of stuff. I sort of know why. I don't fully know why, so I'm trying to catch up with those books. But, he talks about how your butler, oh yeah, that guy never hosed blood and cheap perfume out of the back of an Aston Martin? Sure. I bet you made him call you Master Bruce, didn't you, you sick chicken? Not that kind of billionaire. Not that kind of billionaire. Do you think you're talking to a baby? And then he tells me he's going after Batman. He's like telling him like, oh, you're not going to be able to get Batman, dude. He's not easy to catch. Everything, and then Deadpool's stopping him like, yeah, I'm sure you're fine. Like, I mean, people talk about how he's so scary, but like a guy dressed as a bat sounds like a dumbass. is what he's saying. And then he sees the bat signal in the sky, and he's like, what is this? Is this calling sign? And he's like, no, that's the bat signal. And he's like, it's got a bat signal? Haha, wow. There's no way this guy is serious. He's absolutely doing a bit. So yeah, which is funny. He's just mocking Batman. And then when he meets Commissioner Gordon, or just Gordon, who knows, like, I watched a video about after reading this afterwards, where apparently in Marvel Comics they don't let you just allow people to be smoking in the books, where DC does. So Deadpool makes a joke to Gordon how you probably slip a smoke off in between panels, which you do see happen, which is quite funny and everything. And yeah, and he demands Gordon take him to Batman and everything. Deduces that he's probably the big guy in charge. He's got the gray mustache, so he's got to be the big guy in charge. And then Batman comes crashing in and tells him, welcome to Gotham. And then Batman and Joker, and then Deadpool's like, holy shit, Batman, you're terrifying. I hate myself for saying this, but that bat thing, it works. Which is funny. And like, what I love also about how it's written is that like, Batman, like, this is why, I remember when they first announced it, I was like, Batman, Deadpool, weird choice. And then of course, obviously it makes sense why they did it, because it's like, okay, Batman, obviously gonna make it Batman, but also Deadpool, hugely popular at the time. $1 billion film came out, so of course make it Deadpool. But also more thought about it, I'm like, you know what, this is actually a really cool idea of a pairing, because Batman's dealt obviously with a lot of like maniacs, like the Joker obviously, and many more like the creepers in our character, we could say. But Deadpool's a different breed of crazy, because he's a fourth wall breaking, just not like annoying sense of like he's like super like it's just more like annoying, like this guy doesn't shut up. I'm probably not explaining that right, but you know what I mean. He's just kind of annoying in how he talks, and is like never like letting up and just being like an idiot. And like the way Batman talks to him, he's never like getting mad at Deadpool. He's always very calm in how he talks, and he's always is like, ugh, whatever. Like at one point he says, Deadpool goes, "Hiya," and he's like, "I think you mean Kia," and he just hits him on the head and everything. And this fight's really fun because Deadpool's trying to be so cool, like, "Oh, wait till you see what I got. I got some toys along with my karate." And Batman's like, "So did I." And wastes no time defeating Deadpool. Like throws batarangs in his arm, smoke pellets go. Deadpool tries pulling out his guns to make Batman cry because he heard it makes him cry. And then he gets tied up by his like bolo whip. And Deadpool's like, "Okay, wait. You're right. We're too evenly matched for each other." And Batman's like, "I've never said that." And it's like, and then Deadpool says, "Look, we all want to know which one of us would win. But the point is, we earned each other's respect. That much is clear." Batman's like, "Clear to who?" It's like, and then Deadpool's like, "What I'm trying to say is, I can't bring myself to murder you, Batman. At no point was I in danger of being murdered." Like, he's so casual, Deadpool, like, you're a moron, dude. Like, it's like, I'm not even gonna try and, like, get mad if you're such an idiot. And I like how Deadpool's, like, saying how, like, look, this is the forte, it's how this dance goes, these crossover fights. Like, the crossover happens, we fight, they want to see who wins, but not long there, it's like, let's buddy bud up now, and then now we're teaming up and we're good guys and everything, all that shit. Anyways, yeah. They start talking how, like, Joker's all these chemicals, and they gotta figure out how to define them. Deadpool then chimes in and helps out with pointing out how, oh, they were still on this day? Well, that was a full moon, and he points out how him and Batman both know that with a full moon, it's easier to commit a heist because there's no flashlights shining off because, the moon's much brighter. Tides are a bit coming in more, so, like, you can hide caves better with bodies. So, yeah. So, Deadpool says, "Ooh, can we team up then? This would be great." Batman's like, whatever. He has no choice because they're running out of time. And they're driving away in a Batmobile. It's like, if I have anything to nitpick on in this story, the Batmobile sucks. Not sucks, but it's I don't know. It's not my favorite. Like, I'm not even sure what. I don't think it's a reference to anything possibly, but like it might be an original design by Capullo, but I'm really not a fan of it. It just looks kind of strange. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know. Looking at it again, it kind of looks like it's trying to be the Batmobile from Beware the Batman, which I don't know if that's the case or not, but that's what it kind of, I don't know. It doesn't look great, is all I'm trying to say. I'm not a big fan of it. And, while in the car, Deadpool, like, cracks a joke at Batman, asking him, like, "Hey, but seriously, I'm getting beat up here. This thing wasn't built for two, eh?" And Batman's like, "I work alone, unless I have a Robin." And Deadpool then says, "Ah, yes, the boy wonder. Fighting crime of a shapely young boy. Safe to assume you've already heard every joke I can make about that." Which, the same video I watched about this did talk about how he appreciates that Deadpool could have made that joke, but he didn't. He's making a joke about the fact that people probably made this joke before, which is actually pretty clever. And I'm like, yeah, actually, that does work pretty well about having to, like, just flat out have him. Like, yeah, you could have had him just say, like, "Oh, what's the relationship there then, buddy? Is there a reason for those, like, pantsless tights you put him in?" But no, it's just like, I assume you probably heard all those jokes before, so I'm not going to go there, buddy. So it's like, that's pretty funny. That's what I mean. Like, I really enjoy how he's written here. And then, Deadpool then reveals to him that actually he let Batman win because he was going to get the upper hand. Because he needed an enclosed space to, like, knock him out with knockout gas. And then he, tells Batman, "Don't relax, man. The gas won't affect me. I'll be the designated driver." Wait, is this stick? I can't drive stick, which is just funny. And we find out that Joker hired Deadpool through a machination. So I'll just straight up read what he said, why he hired Deadpool. So, because it's a lot, he says, Batman asks him, "This isn't like you, Joker, handing our vendetta to a subcontractor." Joker says, "True, but we've seen how my schemes usually go. Finally, it dawned on me. I've been self-sabotaging. So I committed to doing some deep work on myself, really look in the mirror on FabGab, mostly scrolls therapy," which, like, apparently is just kind of their version of TikTok, I guess, which Joker's on TikTok. What the hell does he look at on TikTok? I'm nervous to know what that is. And he says, "Turns out my brain is a neurospicy dopamine goblin with task paralysis and a lack of object permanence. Lack of object permanence. I can read. I've been relying on a crew of goons when what I needed was an accountability buddy, a peer to keep my executive dysfunctions at bay." And then he tells them how he found this accountability buddy, and he asks a DC Comics villain called Claire and the Witch Boy to find one for him, mirror style. He found one that was in our universe, so this is not Deadpool occupying the same universe. It's just, him straight up coming from our universe. And then Deadpool, he tried using the cosmic treadmill to get there, but realized he can't do it, and then gets Reverse Flash to do it. then he makes a comment about how his glutes look great now from trying to run on it, like makes Nightwing's butt look flat comparison now. So, because Nightwing's got a nice ass. That's the common thing in DC Comics. You know that a lot of people talk about how Nightwing's got the best ass in DC. That's just what happens. I also gotta say, I forgot how much I liked Capullo's Joker. Like, he draws Joker with, like, this kind of, like, slick back hair, like, buzz cut on the side, which, like, I dig it a lot. Like, he did it for, like, when he did, I read Death of the Family a lot, because I just really enjoyed it when I was younger. And, that Joker has his face cut off and everything, so you can't really get a good look of what he looks like, normally. And I didn't read Endgame too much, the final story, or, like, at least the third to last story of, like, him and Scott Snyder's run on Batman. So yeah, I don't see his Joker too much or know what he looks like a lot, but then once I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, that's what his Joker looks like, because it also looks like that on a variant cover he did recently for DCKO, and I like it a lot. I think it's a really, like, just good design. There's not much he's doing to it, just like with the hair, I think it looks good. It's just a really neat design. And also speaking of designs, Batman is wearing his currently new costume they just gave him recently in the comics, that drawn by Jorge Jimenez in the current Matt Fraction run on Batman, which is great so far. We're only one issue in, and it's already great. The suit is killer. It looks great. Capullo's art with the new costume looks great. If you're not seeing Jorge drawing the suit, though, look it up. It looks muy caliente. But Batman's a smart guy. He knows how to, like, trip up Joker and tells him basically, because Joker's all obsessed about Batman, like this, like, weird relationship they have. So Batman starts getting underneath Joker's skin by telling him, like, I gotta hand it to you, Joker. This accountability buddy, he's pretty great. In fact, he's kind of better than you. And Joker's like, wait, what do you mean by that? I'm just saying. I mean, you're crazy, but this guy, he's got crazy on another level. Like, he's very annoying and just irritating and a psychopath and everything. And I could see myself, like, fighting this guy forever. A villain worthy of my obsession is what he specifically says. And then Joker's like, we gotta talk, Wade. Let's talk over here, shall we? And he tells him how, like, look, thanks for your help and everything, but this is now a private matter for me and my arch nemesis. We gotta have a thing going. I want to, like, look him in the eyes and kill him myself, and having you there. So just go off. And then Deadpool starts talking about how, like, and he's being more genuine. He's like, I kind of like it here, actually, Joker. I've been thinking, this guy's great. Like, I can see why he's your arch nemesis. He's awesome. Like, honestly, I could fight him forever. He could be my arch nemesis. I would, we could team up and be a permanent duo now. Like, we can be like, I can be the more handsome, lustrous, like, main villain he fights, and you can be the guy that laughs all your own jokes. Which I really enjoy. Like, I keep saying it. I love how he's written here. And then Joker's like, great idea. Let's shake on that. And of course, pumps him through a bunch of Joker toxins, which Deadpool and Joker toxins is a horrifying idea. And yeah, and Joker, like, gets punched in the face immediately by him. And not too much is done with Deadpool, with him being with Joker toxins and everything. So he starts laughing a little bit. He's got a permanent grin on his face throughout the rest of the book and all that stuff. And then he goes to free Batman. Batman already freed himself, and he's saying, like, "Oh, I was gonna help you escape since Joker betrayed me, but you don't need my help, I guess." And then Batman's just like, "That's concerning." And then Joker says, "But in other news, I feel great. My mind's never been more clear." And Batman's like, "That's concerning, considering you're teaming with Joker Venom. I wouldn't worry about that. I'm sure my healing factor took care of it. Someone should tell your face." And he's like, "What do I look? Well, what? Do I look weird?" It's just like, so it's interesting. We don't explore that anymore, but, like, apparently Joker Venom helps clear Joker's mind. God damn it. Helps clear Deadpool's mind, which is fascinating. So, like, he's still crazy, but I guess he's a slightly less crazy, bit more unhinged, I guess. I don't know. Again, we don't explore that too much, but still, it's interesting. And then, Joker's whole plan is that he's gonna gas all of Gotham with this, like, carousel filled with so much Joker toxin now engulf the city. And Joker tells Batman, "Hey, listen. So the only way you can stop this is by hitting the button in the middle of the carousel. But literally, as soon as someone hits that button, the thing will detonate, in a contained way, and whoever's inside there will be instantly killed. So, Batman, you'll either have to kill yourself to save Gotham, or don't do that and let Gotham die." It's such a funny joke, and is it my ultimate plan? And then Deadpool's like, "I got this one, partner. Ha ha ha. Let's see one of your taut young boys do this, Batman." He presses the button and he blows up the thing. And Joker's just like, "Oh, that?" Like, he's actually like, taken back. But he's like, I was literally not expect what he actually went in there, and like I think Joker believes he's dead. Maybe I don't know. Well, he's not knocked out. Batman puts him in the trunk, gagged. I think Joker probably can hear him still, but like Batman actually like I don't know if he's shocked that he's dead or not. I can't really tell. But yeah, Deadpool comes out and tells him come on, is there room for one more in the trunk? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I can sit up front because I'm a boy wonder now or whatever. I'm the man wonder and everything. And Batman's telling him how like we're not going anywhere. You're going home, and you still got that stupid smile on your face. Deadpool tries to convince him like, you can't just leave after all we've been through, man. Like, come on. And then Batman tells him like, I knew you were like playing me the second you offered to help back the GCPD, so I let you do that so I could find Joker and everything. And then Deadpool says, you were that confident you could turn us against each other, and I was like, I was. Big risk, zero risk. Everything. But then Batman does give him kudos, like, you did help save the day you did help save Gotham at the end of the day, so I'll let you go home. I don't want to catch you here again though, dude. So I like how they did that, because like, again, anyone could complain about how, oh, come on, like, who's going to win this fight? Is Batman going to win because of prep time, or is Deadpool going to win because he's just insane? Because Taskmaster can't even fight Deadpool. So like, and I appreciate how they did it, where like both of them had the upper hand in a fight, where they both won because the other knew they let them win. Like, when Deadpool first lost, he only lost because he let Batman lost. And then when he captured Batman, that only happened because, Batman let that happen. So I like how they both won or got an upper hand on each other without really doing so. So it was kind of 50-50. I thought that was a clever way around it. And yeah. So Batman speeds away with Joker taking him to Arkham Asylum. Deadpool tells him, I got the message, man. I'll go. And he tells him, no harm in taking a little peek around the city, right? So he's not leaving right away. And I don't know if that means he'll be the next story, Batman Deadpool, next in November, will be a continuation of that. I'm not sure if they were on the same wavelength, like Grant Morrison, who's writing the next one, and Zeb Wells on making this two-part story. No clue. But yeah, I really enjoyed that first story, so I was like super excited to see what the next stories were going to be, and I was super excited for this one. So the next one was Captain America and Wonder Woman, written by Chip Zdarsky and drawn by Terry Dodson. So Terry Dodson is a known Wonder Woman writer, so that's an obvious pick there, and his art looks great with Wonder Woman and Captain America. I think he's drawn Captain America before as well. But Chip Zdarsky is one of my favorite writers. Loved his Spider-Man life story book, love his Daredevil stuff. So I was really excited to hear what he's going to do for this. I'm also enjoying this Captain America run right now, so great choice here. And yeah, the idea is called The Gun and the Sword. And the idea is that in this story, Captain America, the DC Marvel Universe is one universe. So unlike the last one where it's two universes, this one, they occupy the same universe. And it starts with like monologuing Captain America talking about how, I've heard the stories, everyone had heard the stories, a god had come to stop the war. No sure sign that we were on the right side, the side of divine justice. I hope to see you out in the fields and forests of Europe at some point. I suppose I felt the same way about you that others probably felt about me. I was looking to be inspired by you because months turned to years and then the war was long and dark. And yeah, basically what's happening here is Wonder Woman and Captain America were both in World War II. And the first time they were, fighting a good fight, but never meeting each other until finally Wonder Woman met Cap when he had Hitler at gunpoint. And, Captain America talks about how his only regret in their life is that the first time they met was when she found him at his lowest. And apparently this caused a lot of controversy because people didn't like that Captain America was having a gun, was going to just point blank execute Hitler and everything. Which, because, Captain America's life will be like the better man, I guess. But I do like it because the thing for me is that because look, it is Hitler. Like we're touching on an actual real terrible person. So yeah, as he mentions, the war, it became months turned to years, and the war was long and very dark. World War II was a horrible time. Everybody knows this. So yeah, as good a man can be, sure, they have sometimes they can falter, and when Captain America actually does get a look at Hitler, he's like, I could end give him all kill him right now, end all the suffering that he caused by causing him suffering right now by just blowing his brains out. That's the idea they're doing right here. And they have a little exchange, talking, being the first time they met each other. And Hitler is like, he's surrendering. He's telling Captain, I surrender everything. Wonder Woman can speak a little bit of German, so she gets what he's saying. Everything, but Cap's like, my millions dead, friends, people I love, all because of him. And it goes through this like, history about them in the Marvel or in this one universe. And apparently in this universe, again, it's a short story, so we don't get a lot of info, but like the Justice League and the Avengers are one team, maybe, because we see that Wonder Woman and Superman were with the original Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, and Wasp, and assume Giant Man or Ant-Man, and they found Captain America unthawed him. So in this universe, there probably wasn't that much of a freak out reaction from Cap because he saw Wonder Woman and he knew her and everything. So again, I don't know if that means there's only that one team or like just like who knows? It's hard to say. We also see how like they teamed up with like the Fantastic Four and the Teen Titans a little bit, fighting Galactus. They were all there during the Crisis on Infinite Earths when Supergirl died. And then Cap talks about how in monologue, do you remember what you told me when I asked you why you still walked man's world so long after the war? It's because we're all one world, one universe, one fight, and that fight never ends. But it ends for all of us, gods or not. We fought together and lost people together. And we also see like other moments in history that they were there together with, like helping each other out. Like Captain America was there when Wonder Woman was going to like kill Maxwell Lord in the comics during Infinite Crisis, I believe it was. And I don't know if they say he did kill her, she did kill him or not. I think maybe Captain America helped convince her not to do that. And then Wonder Woman also helped out Captain America during the Civil War, so like she was on his side and everything, which like that would have been cool to see. You also see like they, time went really further. Like we're now like where Batman's older at this scene. Like we see an older Batman hang out with a still young looking Wonder Woman and a older Cap with a Robin that looks like it could be Carrie Kelly, but some people say it could also be Wonder Woman's daughter Trinity, who dresses like Robin sometimes or like wants to be Robin. And and so we're seeing scenes of like Wonder Woman and Cap still back in the past and everything. Wonder Woman talking to Cap, how like, I've heard the stories of you as well, Captain America. I saw those stories flicker across the screen in man's world, and I was moved to stay to join this fight. The stories, those newsreels, showed a man of honor in a world of bereft of it, who stands for justice. Do you truly wish to kill this man? And she puts her lasso on him, and he says he does, but she asks him, but is it justice though? And everything like that. And eventually she convinces him that like the kind of like the right thing is to like have like the world judge him for the crimes, not have you solely just take that action to your own hands and everything, which he agrees. He's like, yes, it's not justice. Let the world end this monster together. So like, yeah, because they're also aware clearly like the world will probably also have him probably executed for all his war crimes, possibly. I don't even know really. And yeah, Wonder Woman offers to take him to Themyscira to like keep him there until his trial is ready to begin before someone else tries to kill him. But Hitler, in a quick moment while they're distracted, grabs his gun and kills himself. So, yeah. And then the story ends with, like, seeing a moment far in the future a little bit more, where Wonder Woman still looks young, Cap is old now, he's dying. They're in some like, real made-up thing. It's not anything from the comics, where they're fighting, what is it they call it here? They call it the Infiniverse, where they're fighting some giant 3-being person that looks like Darkseid and Thanos and someone else, like King Thanos, I don't know. Steve's dying, and one was trying to save him from dying. He says, you already have saved me long ago. We've been saving each other since the moment we met each other, and you put down the gun, I put down the sword, and yeah, you have to defend it, and the monster destroying it, he needs to be brought to, and he dies before he can finally finish his sentence, and she says, justice. And we see her fighting with a bunch of like, legacy version of all the characters. Like there's some new Hulk, Storm, a new Green Lantern, a Batman, Captain Marvel, Human Torch, Superman, and some Iron Man. I don't know. I can't quite tell. Again, this story is like nothing. None of these are real characters in this final scene. I don't really know. They just made it up. But yeah, this is my favorite story of the bunch because like after I read it, I was like, God, like that was so fucking good. Like I love Chip Zdarsky so much. Like, I just couldn't help but stop reading this story. I was like, the idea of like having them share the same universe is interesting because now you have moments like this where Wonder Woman and Cap, yeah, they probably would know each other for a long time, and like they're two like some of the best examples of their worlds of hope and justice. So like that's an excellent idea of a story showing they were there with each other, all their like highest and lowest moments, saving each other. Like it's such a good little story. I wish we got to see more of this universe, see what it's like. It would have been really cool maybe you never know for a future crossover. The next story we got is of Jeff the Shark and Crypto the Superdog, written by Kelly Thompson and art by Gahiru. And this is not much. There's no dialogue in the story. It's literally just Crypto and Jeff playing volleyball at the Force of Solitude. It's fun. Again, there's not much to it. It's really fun, really simple, really cute. Then it ends with like Kate Bishop Hawkeye destroying the ball with a message that says, "Jeff, come home, dinner's ready." And Supergirl calls Crypto and tells him dinner's ready. And they, high five, or like high paw, high fin, whatever you want to call it. And the book ends. And like, it's a fun little cute story. And, also makes sense for why you have a story like this in the book. Because, Crypto was huge this year because of Superman. Jeff was also huge because of Marvel Rivals this year. So makes perfect sense to do this kind of story. Brilliant idea. The fourth story in the book is between Daredevil and Green Arrow, written by Kevin Smith and drawn by Adam Kubert. Now, for those of you who don't know, you're probably wondering, why the hell is Kevin Smith writing a crossover comic with Green Arrow and Daredevil? He famously wrote 2 runs on Daredevil and Green Arrow. I know in Green Arrow's run, he created one of his villains called Onomatopoeia. I think in Daredevil's run, I think he was the one who kills Karen? Or no, I forget what book that's in. I don't know, sorry. But yeah, so when I heard he was coming to do this, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I was a little sad that they had Marco Ketto, who's an amazing artist. I love his work on Daredevil and Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. He did the variant cover for this specific story, and I thought it looked amazing. Like, I want him to draw Green Arrow now for a title, but he's over at Marvel. So they had Adam Kubert doing the art instead. So like, I was excited, but still, I feel like Ketto's art would have been really cool. But looking at Kubert's art, I'm like, oh no, this is actually sick. I really love how it looks here. And yeah, so in this book, also sharing the same universe, Green Arrow makes a little hopscotch over to New York and Hell's Kitchen, where he was tracking down the League of Shadows, which I don't know if it's like if they are really, because they're usually associated with Batman. I wonder if they're only fighting the League of Shadows. I mean, I know why they're here, because Daredevil's fighting the Hand, and League of Shadows, when they went to Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil came across them, and then Green Arrow, when he was chasing them, he came across the Hand, so they end up fighting their opposite enemies before meeting each other. So I know why they chose League of Shadows for that parallel, but all I know about with them, with Green Arrow's history is from Arrow, of course, and Green Arrow also fought them a little bit in the Justice versus Godzilla versus Kong book. So I'm not sure if they're really regular for Green Arrow in any capacity. I have no idea, but that's fruit for thought, I guess. And yeah, they're fighting, and like, I do love this one page here, which, like, I'll show it. It's this like double page spread where they're jumping off opposite roofs fighting these guys, and they jump off, and they're trying to like swing off. And they're trying to like latch on something to swing off of. And as they're swinging down, like you see as they're swinging, it's almost like a double page spread, but also you have to read it this way, get the other panels here, which is like a really just creative, I think, way of doing it, I believe. And yeah, and in the scene, they're just swinging down, having opposite conversations, and they run into each other finally and get into a quick standoff and asking each other, like, who are you? Or like Daredevil says, Hawkeye, and Green Arrow replies, do I look like I'm from Iowa? Yeah, Cal Tipper. And he's like, Cal Tipper. And then they, the Hand and League come across and they start fighting again. And Green Arrow's like, you dress like a bad guy, but I know how you New Yorkers love your irony. So I'm guessing you're actually on the side of the Angels, Devil Dog. And he's like, and the Renaissance Fair is not in Battery Park till next month. So I'm guessing you're a good guy, like Friar Tuck. And he's like, maybe we got off on the wrong foot because of the Hand. And the name's Green Arrow Red. They call me Daredevil. Welcome to Clinton, Green Arrow. I'm just reading this whole page, I guess, now at this point. Clinton? What's the landlord language? Let me guess. The billionaire bozos couldn't stand the real estate heat, so they went and gentrified all the character out of the kitchen. Daredevil's like, some villains don't wear masks or capes. So, yeah. Well, say when reading this, that, and Smith, like, I've read some of his Green Arrow, none of his Daredevil, but like, I know, like, obviously, it's not quite tame, some of the stuff he does, like, some of the language he has, if you know Smith's movies and writing style, you probably can imagine what his books are kind of like. So that was interesting, but I was really surprised to see, like, it's really tame, like, it's just really kind of simple, fun banter between them. Like, he also wrote a Spider-Man story not long ago this year, and like that was also quite tame as well. It was quite fun. I was like, oh wow, and this is really enjoyable. And at some points, Daredevil tells him that, oh, these are like zombies pretty much. They resurrect themselves all the time, the Hand, so you can just like kill them if you want, and he does. And then Green Arrow gets knocked back in the Fogwell gym, and a Green Arrow villain known as Count Vertigo, which the minute I saw Count Vertigo, I'm like, of course. As his name says, Vertigo, so like he messes up your centuries and everything. So for Daredevil, that's absolute pain. I love the artistry and the colors on it, where like you see green is overloading onto Daredevil, who's red. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, as soon as I saw Count Vertigo was there, I was like, of course you make a Count Vertigo. Of course you'd have him here. But then Green Arrow comes and saves day. He grabbed a boxing glove from the gym and attached to an arrow, made a boxing glove arrow, and shot it at Vertigo. They took him out, and they defeat all the rest of the League in the hand. And afterwards, Arrow then says, now that my case is closed, what say we lead this foreign fat cat and his flunky friends for the cops and get us a drink, Red? I'm buying. And then he cracks a joke out saying, better have cash on you then, man, because Josie's bar only takes cash. And he's like, I got some cash, man. And he jokes about how, like, are we probably going to share our origin stories? Probably. I want to hear what's your deal. And they talk about how they're now new friends and everything. And the book ends with, like, Green Arrow's arrow dropping on the ground with a boxing glove, and it's battling Jack Murdoch's glove he used. So that's really cool. Like, this is a really good story. I was excited for this one. I was curious by it because, Daredevil and Green Arrow is an interesting pairing because, they're both like, Daredevil's got some enhanced abilities, but still, they're mostly pretty kind of regular guys. They're down the street kind of heroes. Daredevil's a very Catholic man. Green Arrow's a lefty, like, character in the comics or everything like that, like on the left side in politics. So, and he usually deals with stories that are not like supervillain-esque. Well, he does deal with supervillains, but not like super comic booky. It's like stuff like in the recent Chris Condon Green Arrow run, he's been dealing with plots like, oh, this like company that Oliver Queen bought back in the day when he was still before his Green Arrow has been poisoning the water down in this one town and been causing people to die. So now a bunch of people became the freshwater killers who get revenge on these people. So like, more like genuine kind of problem there. And the recent story, I've been dealing with a guy who shoots arrows into people that gives them overdose on drugs and has been, dealing with drug addiction and like, rehab, bring back some old memories for his partner Speedy. So like that's kind of stories he deals with. So like they're both very kind of grounded heroes and stuff they deal with a lot of time. So their team up was an interesting one. I was like, oh yeah, I'm excited for this. That's really cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed that story. The next one is the shortest one so far. It's only 2 pages. Where this one wasn't even, I didn't realize this was even gonna be a story in the book, but it's between Green Lantern and Rocket Raccoon, written by Al Ewing and drawn by Ruin. Oh, sorry, doesn't actually say it on this page. Written by Al Ewing and drawn by Dyke Ruin. And the story is very simple. The Guardians of the Universe and the Guardians of the Galaxy have an exchange program where they lend Hal Jordan to the Guardians, but then also they lend Rocket Raccoon to the Guardians of the Universe for the Green Lantern Corps. And Hal gives Rocket his Green Lantern ring. Rocket being able to use it, yeah, he's pretty brave, I would say, for stuff he does. But like, yeah, I don't think he should be able to use it, but I guess maybe like they work around something to do that. So yeah, it's a fun little story, and basically it's pretty much, it's like just the Guardian following like Rocket around saying like, you just shot Sinestro in the face? Are you gambling your Green Lantern ring away? He's like, and Rocket's like, I shouldn't have done that. And then gambling, he's like, we're searching for the soul of America, classic GL stuff and everything. And Green Arrow's with him. And he's like, a moral cancer is killing our souls, man. And it's like in reference to the classic, hard traveling heroes book between Green Arrow and Green Lantern. And like even the Guardians at one point mentions like, now we're starting a heist. Like, wait, why am I involved in the heist? And he's like, that also was in that hard traveling heroes run. They eventually call the Guardians and tell them like, hey man, this ain't working. We need our guy back and need to get your guy. This is a problem. And he's like, yeah, we agree. We really should not have brought a guy who has an affinity for jewelry to our team to fight some people because he managed to steal the Infinity Gauntlet and now he's Parallax again, that's fun. And yeah, there's not much to the story. It would have been cool to see more of like, Parallax, Green Lantern with the Infinity Gauntlet, but still, it's a fun little story. It's cute. Next one, which was advertised, which I was super curious about, was Frank Miller drew and wrote a story between Dark Knight Returns Batman and Old Man Logan. Because, of course, he created Dark Knight Returns. Obviously, that's like his baby. And, he didn't write Old Man Logan, but he did help also work on the, Chris Claremont Wolverine run back in the day. So he has a history of both characters. And yeah, I was super curious to see what it was going to be like because Miller, like, especially because like every Batman story Miller writes is set in the same universe as the Dark Knight Returns. So that was cool. And the story's a little, I'll say this, to me, is like the weakest story for me. It's still fun though, but it's mostly because like it's just, we kind of catch up with them in a fight. They're in this like kind of empty void almost, with like nothing in the background. They're just fighting and everything. Yeah, and Batman wins the fight, all that. And yeah, and they have some, fun insults they throw at them. Like, Wolverine calls him a broken old man, or no, Batman calls him a broken old man, and like Wolverine calls him a broken old man, and like Batman calls him a third-rate psycho, or one of them calls him each other. I can't quite tell. They have fun insults they throw at each other. Like Batman says, "You ought to be sitting in some ward doing macrame, whatever that is, getting your steady stream of intravenous while you dribble away into your drool cup." And Wolverine says, "You'll be the one living off of needles, Gipper. You'll be feeding out of tubes." And yeah, and I will say, so Miller, I've been a critic of Miller's art in recent years. Like a lot of people, it hasn't looked great. I will say the cover he did for this story, which looked fine. Wolverine's face looked a little weird, but it looked pretty good. The art in the actual book actually looks pretty good. Like I will say, like I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is actually pretty solid. Like I wonder if like Miller, like I wonder if he like knew, okay, I'm drawing a Batman Wolverine crossover comic. I gotta put my A game in here because I feel like this is some of his best work I've seen in recent years. Like it's not like obviously his A game stuff like back in the day of Dark Knight Returns, but it's quite good. Like especially Wolverine's face. I've seen other comic covers done recently where Wolverine looks like shit, but he looks good here and everything. And yeah, basically the fight ends with Batman. Also, he doesn't draw Wolverine, Old Man Logan like Old Man Logan. He draws him more like his Wolverine was back in the day, but he draws at least like that on the cover. So weird choice, but yeah. Batman wins the fight because he tells him how like all that sound and fury, all that rage and ruin, and all that time you just ain't watching the store. Give the man with the brain plenty of time. So he strapped all these bombs to his waist and he blows them up, and he's just kind of hurt and he's steaming from heat now. And Batman tells him, "Ready to call it a day, Fido? Ready to run on home and lick your wounds?" And Wolverine tells him, "Sure, bub, and you come visit anytime you get the itch, and I'll show you a time." And so, yeah, he invites him to come fight again. So, yeah, again, it's a little disappointing for me, this book, because it kind of just happens, them fighting. We don't have any context for what got them here. Again, there's a lot of stories in this book, so we can't dedicate a lot of time to all of them. But still, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, but still, what we got is cool. The dialogue feels in keeping of both characters, even though I never read Old Man Logan, but it feels in keeping of these, old gruffer characters, like the Fido comment, like it feels all very funny. So again, Miller's art is some of the best I've seen in quite a while. So like, yeah, I do like the story a lot. I just do wish there was a little bit more. But still, at the same time, getting Frank Miller to do a crossover comic between Old Man Logan and Dark Knight Returns Batman is quite something. And that was the end of like the stories that were advertised in the book. But then, to a shock, because I didn't know what this story was. There's a bonus story. And I saw it online on Instagram briefly. Marvel Comics shared just the title of the story called Logo. And I was like, oh, there's another story in the book? And it's a new character they created, like writer Ryan North made. And I was like, what is this? And I was curious about what it was. And I turned to the page. It's written by Ryan North and drawn by Ryan Stegman. And I turned the page, and it's a new amalgam story. Like, I could not believe that. I'm like, what? In our lore 2025, we have a new amalgam character and story in a new crossover comic. That's crazy. Like, insane. It's an amalgam of Wolverine and Lobo making Logo. And he's fighting, he just killed, what's the name? Coltron, which is Ultron, and Cobra from DC, which is there's a whole snake organization also with a leader called Cobra, and call it, like G.I. Joe. It's weird. I don't know why it's Ultron and Cobra. Why not Ultron and Brainiac? That makes more sense to me, but whatever. And yeah, he looks more like Lobo, but he has like, a lot of design details of like Wolverine on and everything. And in the opening scene, he tells him how, "I'll tell you again, bub, the name's Logo. I'm the last of the Canucksians, the main mutie. And I just happen to be the biggest, baddest boostitch in the whole fragging universe," which is fun. And of course, there was, like I said, there was Dark Claw, who was Batman and Wolverine. And there also was Lobo and Howard the Duck in the Amalgam book. But the way the Amalgam characters work is that basically they take the body of one character, but then give them like kind of the personality traits and other attributes of the other character. So like it was, I think, Wolverine's body, but like with Batman's whole shtick, and then Howard the Duck's body with Lobo's shtick. So now this one is Lobo with a lot of Wolverine shtick. And yeah, he kills Coltron, tells the bartender, like, yeah, if he comes back to life, because you say he will, I'll be back, and his bounty will probably be re-upped again, so hell yeah. He drives off, destroys the Thanos side copter also, because like literally Thanos side, amalgam of Darkseid and Thanos, he's sitting there having a drink, and he destroys his copter, and he's like, God damn it, man. And then he says, as he's riding off, and tells Super Soldier, Superman and Captain America, that when he hears the engine of Weapon Triple X here roaring in his ears, it means I'm coming for him. And yeah, it's a great final shot here. And yeah, the story's called Enter Logo, and it says the end. And a lot of these stories end with like kind of a question mark on them saying end. Like, oh, is this the end of like Deadpool and Batman? And when we know it's not. Is this the end of Crypto and Super and Jeff? Is it the end of like Green Lantern and Rocket? And I feel like we're not done with this one. I feel like we might. There's no way we don't see, like, it's a new character they create, and like, sure, maybe this is it, but still, I feel like there's a chance because Batman Deadpool will also be an oversized comic. We did not know this was going to be in the book at all, so maybe they might surprise us with a another story there of another amalgam character. Maybe a new amalgam character, maybe something completely new, like using some of the newer characters in recent years. Like, what if like they have an amalgam of like, I don't know, Deadpool and Harley Quinn, or I don't know, Miles Morales and Kamala Khan, or like something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of ideas. Or maybe not that. What's some other legacy heroes I could throw? Nightwing and sure. Let's say Nightwing and Miles Morales, and then Kamala Khan with who can I use from DC? Who can I use? I'm trying to think of someone. Let's say Starfire or Raven. That works. Like something like that. Use one of the newer characters who weren't around when Amalgam was happening. Well, Nightwing was around, so was Deadpool, but you know what I mean. Like characters they didn't make amalgams of before. Like again, I feel like there might be a chance we might get another continuation of the story in that one. And also, as Bike says, made in Canada, which is funny. And yeah, I just could not believe there was a new amalgam story. Like if we don't get more of this, I'm shocked. Like it was impressive they gave us this at all. Like because I remember I was surprised when they made an omnibus of the amalgam stories. And I'm like, that's such a thing in the 90s. Like I'm actually impressed you guys are reprinting that stuff. But they did. So I was like, that's cool. And now they did. It's because they are doing a new story of it. So I'm like, that's cool. So yeah. And that was Deadpool and Batman, the first Marvel and DC crossover in 22 years. I said it on my Instagram. If you guys follow me on there, I gave it a 10 out of 10 on my Instagram story, and I mean it. Like it's 10 out of 10 for me. And sure, yeah, is that there's obviously some stuff I said I could nitpick on. Like, yeah, some of these I wish, like I said, Old Man Logan and Dark Knight Returns Batman is a little disappointing. I feel like I would have loved to see more. Some of them are quite short. I would have liked to see a bit more of some stories, more elaboration on some things. I was not a fan of that Batmobile design, but at the end of the day, like what this is meant to be a fun, like celebration of both universes and the fun you can have when you team them up. Like there's not really any, like yeah, there's fighting in this book, but there's a lot of like the camaraderie also with them when they do stop fighting in the end. Like it's a fun book. I don't know what you really else want. Like I saw a lot of people complaining about it, like saying how the writing is not. A lot of people didn't like the writing in this book I saw, which like that's fine. If you don't like the writing in the book, that's fine enough. Like yeah, if the writing sucks in the crossover, yeah, it's obviously your choice to like not like it if you don't think the writing's that great. That's perfectly fine. For me, like I don't know, I felt the writing was all extremely fun, in character for a lot of people, super well done. Like I don't know, this is exactly what I kind of wanted. I love this book so much. I think it's so fun. I'm so glad we got another one of these. It's so great. Just holy shit, I really enjoy this. It is great. And yeah, this month with Batman Deadpool, I'm super excited to see that because, that one's going to be written by Grant Morrison, like a absolute stellar writer for DC. He's written so many stuff over there. Like, he's written for Batman and Superman, Wonder Woman, the JLA, Green Lantern, all of them. He's written for X-Men also before, so he's got experience with mutants. And also Dan Mora, DC's current golden boy. Amazing artwork, so I cannot wait to see that book. And a ton of other great stories. I forget all the writers and artists who are working on all the other stories, but we got a Constantine and Doctor Strange one that's going to be written by Scott Snyder, Josh Williamson, and James Tynion IV. People I all love and adore, and drawn by Hayden Sherman, one of my favorite artists currently. That's sick. We're going to see a Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo team up on writing and drawing on Nightwing and Laura Kinney Wolverine, because Taylor is written for both characters, and Bruno is drawn for both of them. So that's awesome. We're getting a Hulk and Harley Quinn team up, which is my least anticipated one, but like, sure. Yeah, I get Harley Quinn in one of those at least. I understand. But still, I don't know who's doing that one. Let me look it up right now, actually. And then we also have a story between Static Shock and Ms. Marvel, which that's awesome. I cannot wait to see that one. I'm a big fan of Ms. Marvel, and also I've never read anything with Static in it, but I know a lot of people love Static. I would love to read some of Static in it. So that's awesome, doing a story between those two characters, so that's great. And who knows, maybe some more surprise stories they'll possibly do as well. Like, you never know. Okay, so Harley Quinn and Hulk will be written by Mariko Tamaki and artist Amanda Connor. I assume they both worked on those characters. I'm pretty sure Mariko has probably worked on Harley Quinn before, so that makes sense. And then for the Miss Marvel and Stack one will be G. Willow Wilson and Denny writing it, and Denny's Cohen drawing it. Wilson has written for Miss Marvel before, so that's a good pick to get. And she's currently at DC. I think, no, she's writing Black Cat, I think, right now. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, they've not yet released a variant cover for the Miss Marvel and Stack Shock one, which I'm really disappointed by. I hope they do. I'd love to see that cover and what that would look like. I think this is the Amanda Connor one. Yeah, the Amanda Connor variant cover for Harley Quinn Hulk. Yeah, she's a heavy Harley Quinn artist, so that makes sense. So, yeah, I cannot wait for that. I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah. I hope I talk about everything I possibly could in this. This will be a long episode of Geek Culture Talk, obviously, but, there's a lot to unpack and talk about here. It's a really great book. It's like, it's our podcast. This is what we do, is we talk about stuff like this. Mostly a podcast, obviously. But, yeah, tell me, did you read this? What did you think of it? What's your favorite story in it? What's your least favorite story in it? Did you think the crossover overall was amazing, terrible, or just okay? Did you not read? Did you pick it up at all? If you didn't read it, were you just not interested in seeing a crossover comic anymore? I'm not really sure, but yeah, I'm glad we got this. I'm excited for the next one. And they did say there's a new crossover. They will do another crossover next year. They already have another crossover set for 2026. I've heard some speculation or people are theorizing that it could be a new Superman Spider-Man one, because nary between both this one and the next one coming out, there's no Superman Spider-Man crossover in any capacity, not between the two or between any other characters. They guest star in some of these stories, but very minorly. So there's a theory people have that maybe next year, because it'll mark 50 years since the first DC Marvel crossover, they'll do a new Superman Spider-Man crossover, which that could be sick. Maybe it's a new amalgam thing. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. All I know is I cannot wait. These are fun. Hell yeah. Let's do more, guys. Come on, guys. Give me more. I don't know. Give me some, maybe, I don't know, Teen Titans and Champions. That could be a cool idea. What else could we do? Wonder Woman and Thor could be a great idea as well. Iron Man, and who else could we got? Blue Beetle? Sure, maybe that. Moon Knight and Batman. Yeah, I'm just spitballing here, ideas you could do. There's a lot of great stuff you could do. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you all for watching this episode of Geek Culture Talk. Once again, tell me what you thought of this comic down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time on Geek Culture Talk I assume we'll probably talk about Batman and Deadpool. We definitely will. So yeah. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys all later. Goodbye.
Hey, it's Yuri Lowenthal here. You might know me from this Marvel Spider-Man games or other places as well. You're tuned in to 100 Bomb Studios. Hit like and subscribe, but only if you like really, really nerdy stuff. Because that's why I'm here.